Good Wednesday afternoon, meteorologist Steve Fundaro here. Beautiful afternoon, beautiful evening, and we have essentially one more really nice day this week before all good things come to an end. And we likely get soaked moving into the weekend here. So enjoy a beautiful Wednesday evening. Some fun, fair weather clouds are developing across our region on the satellite picture. Similar day expected tomorrow. But we're going to go down to the south where there is a stalled front that will help develop an area of low pressure off the coastline of Cape Canaveral. Off the east coast of Florida, there's going to be an area of low pressure that develops along this front. That moisture comes up the coastline and essentially dumps rainfall across Hampton Roads, kind of setting up a coastal low, so to speak, almost like a nor'easter. Wet and windy conditions are essentially expected from Friday afternoon into Saturday, maybe even lingering all the way into Sunday morning. But Sunday is trending a little brighter. Now, the first few days of the weekend, though, will likely feature a good dose of rainfall. As the fronts associated with the area low pressure lift into the region, we likely anticipate some rain to increase from Friday afternoon into Friday evening, overnight into at least Saturday morning. And then we'll see what happens for the rest of the weekend. Could be a bit brighter by Sunday. Now, in terms of wind with this system, winds will be gusting out of the east-northeast 35, 40 miles an hour. So this is not just rain. This is rain and wind. And it could be even blustery, even windier, so to speak, or blustery, or if that's even a word, later on Friday night into Saturday. So winds will be peaking in addition to the rainfall that does develop. Now, rainfall amounts have kind of been spread all over the place, but we could likely get 1 to 2+ inches of rain, maybe more than 2 inches of rain when this is all said and done. It really is just going to depend on what type of area low pressure develops, how wound up it is, how organized the area low pressure is, and then where it does track. If it stays closer to the coast, it wouldn't mean as much rainfall. If it comes further inland, it would mean more rainfall. So those are kind of some of the details we're waiting to iron out. But as of now, we're just anticipating this weekend coastal low, Friday through Saturday, increasing rain, which could be over 2 inches I talked about, gusty conditions, especially at the coastline, and that will pile up the tides. So the two high tides that will likely feature minor to moderate tidal flooding will be Friday evening's high tide and Saturday morning's high tide. Those two will come up and cause some issues in those low-lying areas. And then depending on how much rain we get, we could see that water pile up in those low-lying areas, those familiar spots around town. So if you got plans Friday night, keep that in mind. If you got plans to get some errands done, you're trying to drive around town Saturday morning, something to keep in mind. Also something to keep in mind, nothing to be concerned about, but this area low pressure could develop some sort of tropical or subtropical characteristics. The National Hurricane Center highlighting it as, hey, if this low pressure does get a little bit of tropical characteristics, it could become briefly a tropical or subtropical storm. But it's really in a tight window between when the area low pressure develops off of the coastline of Florida and when it makes interactions with, let's say, Cape Hatteras or the Outer Banks and comes up towards Hampton Roads here. So kind of a tight window. Does it impact our forecast? Not all that much. I mean, what we really just are anticipating is that wet and windy setup for at least Friday and Saturday. Just check back in at least by tomorrow to get a little bit better idea. And we'll have more details as we go through the next couple of days here going into the weekend. Elsewhere, though, on the tropical satellite, Nigel is staying in the open Atlantic. The hurricane sends a swell our way. There'll be some fun waves to catch tomorrow morning. The incoming tide right around dawn patrol should feature some fun waves Thursday morning. And then way out in the Atlantic, we're talking about 3,000+ miles away is another area that could develop tropical characteristics in 7 days, but that's so far away, we don't have to worry about that now. We'll just focus on the short term. Short term has us into a nice night tonight. We talked about that. Beautiful and refreshing by tomorrow morning, but we got more clouds coming in. Hopefully they just create some color in the sunrise tomorrow morning and color in the sunset tomorrow evening. Temperatures will be staying in the 70s pretty much for the rest of the week and into the weekend. However, the sky conditions drastically change when we move into the weekend. So clouds are going to be on the increase into tomorrow afternoon. I don't think we see any rainfall tomorrow. Looks dry. Still nice, even with the mid to high level clouds around town. Going into Friday, this is a little egregiously ambitious, so to speak, but there could be some rain developing across the region to our south. I think Friday morning is dry. It's Friday afternoon. We get that rainfall to move in. Could be heavy at times, especially into Friday night. This is when the winds really start to pick up as well. Then that rain, scattered in nature, takes us into Saturday morning. It takes us into Saturday. And it's just kind of a gloomy weekend to kickstart the fall season. Fortunately, there's good football on. Maybe you could just hang tight inside, make a nice big pot of chili, and enjoy some good football and some cozy conditions on Saturday. However, if you are driving around, you've got plans this weekend, just keep an eye on the forecast as we do have some rain moving in. Now, it does look better and brighter on Sunday, and then much better into next week.